One can also choose to participate in clubs such as equestrianism, mountain biking, and adventure club. Also on offer, we have art, drama, and music, which is headed by our head of culture, Mrs. White, who will give a more in-depth overview of this part of the school.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Namagundi College and the cultural area of the school. As incoming sixth formers, you are expected to do more than just academics. You're expected to leave us a well-rounded, socially responsible and confident adult. There are various ways that you can participate as a sixth former. You can join the service club, which works with the community. There's the functions committee, there's the entertainment committee, where you entertain the school. There's the cultural committee, where we work on all sorts of areas of culture, including supervising the other clubs in the school. And there are lots of those, from chess to Scrabble to karate, all sorts of clubs. Perhaps the most interesting one is Adventure Challenge. And I think I'll leave that to Mr. Bayer to tell you all about.
Right, Adventure Challenge. What is it? I'm often asked what Adventure Challenge is. Perhaps I can best illustrate it by talking about some of the things that we've done in the years gone by. Every year, in the last week of the academic year, we take the group off on some homegrown adventure of our own. There's quite a lot of cycling in Adventure Challenge. We did a trip around the Doma area, we did a trip in the Trelawney area, basically on cycles, covered a lot of ground. My own enduring memory of those trips is breakdowns. The trip to Doma, 500 meters out the gate, we had our first breakdown with a bicycle. And so it carried on. I was going on ahead of them with a school truck, and they were going cross country, and I planned to meet them. When I arrived at the point, nobody came, and eventually I drove back and I found them. And they were busy trying to repair bicycles, and one was completely conked, and they had to try and make two bicycles into one so that two people could ride and carry on. There was no giving up. This was resilience. Nowadays we tend to focus more on hiking, not only hiking, but more on hiking. Our first real hiking trip was up in Matusadona. That was a seriously challenging trip. We had a Marineland ferry take us across the lake, dropped us near the gorge, and then we headed off up to Mount Matusadona. That first day, in searing heat, we just climbed and climbed and climbed. It must have been 500-600 meters that we climbed in one day. But we've hiked in Nyanga a few times. The first time we did an Nyanga trip, we stopped. We were heading off toward what's the place called, Far and Wide, but there'd been a lot of rain and the road was very slippery. Tried to get the bus up a hill, couldn't get there. 3-4 hours later of lots of work and chopping stuff down and creating debris on the road, we eventually get to the top to discover that beyond that is more of the same. So we had to turn around, reset, replan, being adaptable. This is part of Adventure Challenge. Right, we've hiked Chimani Mani a few times. Those of you who've been to Chimani Mani will understand a little bit about this. It's always challenging. The first day, that first ascent, heavy going. Now you're taking that first ascent with 6 days worth of gear and food and everything. That's really seriously challenging, but up there, it's magic. Just being in Chimani Mani is magic. All of the kids who've been to Chimani Mani really remember that place. It's a highlight in their lives. Second trip to Chimani Mani, our biggest challenge was heat and lack of water. Normally you think of Chimani as wet, but again we had to adapt and adjust because there was just not enough water around. We've done one trip to Mfurudzi. Mfurudzi is a spectacular place, well worth a visit. But our experience there was also heat and dry. We actually almost had to abandon the hike for lack of water, lack of good drinking water. Then a couple of trips to the Metopus. You know the Metopus, those splendid gormals, magnificent, has a magic of its own. It just seems though that every time we've been to Metopus, we've ended up playing capture the flag with a group. But you must understand that this group is seriously committed to what they're doing. And so capture the flag ends up in an incredibly tightly contested game that becomes so dangerous that I've had to stop it because of the danger of injuries. Last year we did Hondi Valley. And so over the years we've done many things. We've climbed, we've abseiled, we've created and defeated obstacles, we've hiked, we've camped, we've cooked. All of these kids who go through Adventure Challenge can cook for themselves by the time they've done this. We've talked, we've laughed, but of course it doesn't just happen. Okay, there've been weekly meetings where we learn, where we interact, where we develop the skills that we need for our end of year trips. We have our termly camps up in our own camp at the back of the school here, Camp Gecko. Incidentally called Camp Gecko because Gecko is the Adventure Challenge mascot. It sticks no matter how tough the going. So before the end of year trip, there's been a lot of work, a lot of fun, teamwork, developing self-reliance in challenges, thinking creatively, navigation, safety, survival, camping, ropes, knots, and always a huge amount of fun and laughter in the middle of this all. Two other things stand out. One is that Adventure Challenge members tend to score higher than average in academic merits at school. And the other is they also tend to score a little bit higher than average in sport at school. I think those things are very significant, and I think that they are a tribute to all that they learn in this wonderful exercise called Adventure Challenge.